that bullshit. Okay, all right. I mean, that's a choice. It's a
It struck
choice.
a chord,
Yeah.
didn't it?
That's
Just it struck something in you, and he was like, he was ready.
no,
He said,
I've been waiting for
guns
a minute.
blazing.
Nah, payback.
Actually, what I did is I just did negative 20 dB.
Oh man.
Okay. All right. So we're actually live. But you guys can keep chatting until people jump on.
Oh, we are live now?
Yeah.
Oh, they can hear us.
Oh, this is where it's going to jump off. Now this is where I get my get backs. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
It's going. I hope you're ready.
I've
This
got
is
plenty
going
of
down.
ammo. Fine. I've been holding.
It is a
I've
little
been holding
dark.
back. Wow, let's not make me too dark.
Okay, there we go.
Make sure everybody can see him.
Yeah, if you're not looking at the TV like directly, then that's like.
You see how she do me, y'all? You see, you trying to slip it in right there. You really tried to slip it in. We're gonna let some people get on the live.
Sure.
Welcome to the Audrey's last day joint.
I need an air horn.
Bam, 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 bam. So we're gonna be having a little bit of conversation with our good friend Audrey here, who is flying the coop. She is jumping out, spreading her wings, getting ready to fly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, so okay. So for those who are on right now, Audrey is going to be leaving the Think 3D team. And so if anybody is following Think 3D with any type of regularity, we've only had a few people leave us, but when we do, we like to have these type of conversations because for us, one of the things that's really important is that people realize that this is part of the journey. And, you know, we always support and encourage, you know, people developing themselves, growing, and finding the right opportunity for them. And things happen in stages, things happen in phases. And on this journey that we're on as an organization, as Think 3D, we appreciate everybody for every part that they played in it. One of the things that I always say is you can't take sugar out of cookies. And so anything that this organization becomes after you leave is partly because of what you contributed to it and what you brought to it and who you are and your spirit and your energy. And so we always want to send people off and have a little conversation. And before she leaves, we want to just show our appreciation. So first of all, Audrey Bright. Yeah.
No.
She's also known as Mama Bear for our LOT fam. For those that don't, yeah, we got air horns. For those that don't know, her role, much of it was with our Bridging the Gap side of it, which was our Leaders of Tomorrow program. And she really managed and took care of a lot of the folks in there. And there was a lot of love and a lot of beautiful energy around that group. And you had a lot to do with that. So first, let's just get started with the start. How did you come to us? You the beginning at Think 3D. What was that like?
Gosh. I honestly had no idea that you guys existed, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me getting linked to Tamian through a mentor, I would have not have known that the Think 3D existed. But based off of me and him meeting, and I was still at my old job prior to, so hearing him and talking to him about the work that you guys were all doing, it was something I wanted to be a part of, just didn't know how.
Yeah.
Right. And so in my middle of me trying to figure out if where I was still at, if it was meant for me to still be there or not, I ended up looking at your guys' site and seeing that you guys had posted for a position, and I applied and just took the leap, hoping that I'd get a chance in here some way, somehow. And I hear the story that originally the applications were cut off, but mine snuck in.
Yeah.
And got in to get an interview with you all, and that really kind of sealed the deal for me and wanting to be a part of the work you guys were all doing. So
Yeah. As we were talking very early in our relationship, okay.
You were on some foolishness when I first came in here. That's all I want to say.
That's how you want to tell the story?
You set the tone.
That's how you want to tell the story.
First of all, my first day, I was
Audrey, look at me. Look at me right now. This is what you're gonna do? This is being captured right now in the world.
My truth.
Okay, tell your truth.
This is my truth. And Bree, if you get to hear this, I want you to co-sign this because when I first got here, I was in the office with Bree and we were setting up my stuff. And you came in with this energy that was like, I had an attitude or something. And I felt like I didn't have an attitude. I was just trying to figure out everybody.
She felt like she didn't
and
have an attitude.
I was just trying to figure out everybody and everything that was happening. And this dude had the energy of like, ugh.
I want to tell y'all how it went every day that I would come in. Okay. So
I had to match his energy because he came in on
she
some
tried to put this
BS.
on me. I would come into the office. Audrey
You
was one of the
wore
first
it.
things that I saw. And I would say, "Hey, Audrey." And she would go, "Oh, oh, what's that you got on? Is that what you're wearing? Oh, okay." Who does that? You do that.
I did because it kept you on your toes. One,
Yeah.
you enjoyed it
I would
every
come
time
back
you
from a
came in.
vacation. And you first thing you do is just bomb on me.
I know, but you looked for it every
I
time you
did.
came in,
did.
and you were always ready.
I was
Like,
ready. Yeah,
and
that was ready.
I felt like I needed to keep the energy up, so that was our way of like building
Which
that
was a
relationship.
big role that she played. So you were in the office, really key to the consideration and the birthdays and the thoughtfulness and writing questions on the wall and a lot of those little nuances and all of those things. Um, Tammy and I admittedly are not wired that way, really. It's not that we don't appreciate it, it's not that we don't care, but we just kind of tunnel vision and we keep going. I don't remember my own birthday sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm one of those people. And so some of those things are really, really important to an environment. And not everybody is tuned to do that. That is something that you are tuned to do. And that's been really important for us. Where do you think that comes from? Why do you?
I think for me, it just comes from all my years of honestly being in corporate America, and being in large organizations that, yeah, you got recognized, but it wasn't to the extent for your work, any type of appreciation. It was kind of like you just became another number, an employee number to them.
Yeah.
And for me, my mindset has always been to be better than that, and have that mindset to treat people better than what they have been treated before. And even for myself, because I had plenty of bad experiences with management that just, it was never good. It was never treated well, never been appreciated. And so I wanted to bring that to the table for a lot of people. Whatever it looked like for them, whatever appreciation looked like, I wanted them to know that they were appreciated, they were cared for, they were seen, they were valued, and we seen their worth. And I think for me, that plays a huge part for a lot of people, and keeping even retention percentages down for a lot of spaces and places. So I knew that plays a part in keeping your employees happy. And so for me, that was like a no-brainer to want to bring that energy and those things to the group.
For sure. Another part that you played a big role was obviously facilitating what we had going with Leaders of Tomorrow. Now we have surpassed 500 leaders gone through that program, including Avera cohorts, nonprofit cohorts, and then of course the JR cohorts outside of our normal ones. That's a big deal, 500 people, and to try to activate those folks, keep those folks engaged, connect them with opportunities, keep them, coming back and staying connected. That's a big job. That's a lot of people, to manage. There's a lot of people to try to engage very different spectrum of people. Tell us about that role.
I think for me, it was coming in and just being me, being transparent and being willing to be vulnerable in it, and just connecting with people on a personal level. Again, for me, it was seeing people for who they are, especially even like our JI community, like they get labeled as something so much that for me, it was seeing them for who they truly were as people. And I think even just for everybody in general, it was trying to keep the peace and, treat everybody the same way, but also meeting them where they're at. Like if they're going through something, if it's something and there were times where I could kind of sense it through conversations with different folks that I knew, okay, we kind of need a little bit of an extra moment in time together. So let's meet for coffee or let's meet for lunch or something, for me to just be able to connect and relate with them and to share even some personal things on personal levels that I think were helpful with this community to be able to really build that trust even with them. And there was a lot of honesty for me with them as well that I just never kept from them.
Yeah.
I was always upfront, and I knew that was important in building the relationship with everybody. And so, seeing everybody's potential and knowing that they could reach their success, it was somebody needed to pour into them to do that.
And that's a big deal because, we're talking about, everything from you setting up some appreciation to showing up for people in drug court, really
Hmm.
being there when people graduate, helping to be their accountability. One of the things about, Think 3D, that's just the nature of where we're at as an organization is that, Tame and I are all the time. So there's times, we're walking in, we do the thing, we walk out, we go do another thing.
Hmm.
And so for a lot of people, their connection to us is you or, somebody else from the team.
Hmm.
And so sometimes you're not getting a ton of us. So you actually feel a lot of the challenges and different quirky things that are going on with people. And what's it like playing that role for so many folks?
Um, I didn't know it was gonna get to the extent it did.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie. When I first came in, I think we were hitting under or close to about 150, a little over maybe,
yeah.
of grads at the time. So for me, it was like, okay, that seems doable. But then as we continued to
Surprise.
progress, yeah, I was like, okay, what are we doing here? So I think I just had to be a little bit more mindful in my time where I was showing up.
Yeah,
If I couldn't get to a lot of places, I was transparent and letting them know and communicating to a lot of our grads for different things, but knowing that showing up to different places and different things that they had going on meant something to a lot of them,
yeah,
and they wanted the support. They need that support. So when knowing your guys' schedule, that it was busy, you guys were on to the next, to the next, to the next,
yeah,
that if I could fill in that gap, I was filling in that gap to show up and be supportive of those folks. And for me, it was managing my time wisely.
yeah,
Um, there were times that I did hit a lot of burnout, but it was still cup filling,
yeah,
if
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense. So
For
like you
sure.
still have that burnout, but you're still wanting to push through it still because you truly believe in what you're doing and you know it's an impact. So you'll still power through it no matter what.
For sure.
So for me, it was a lot. But then, once life happened for me, it slowed me down a little bit.
Yeah,
So I had to kind of reposition myself and
for
reset
sure.
some things. But I think for the most part, like I did as much as I could
Yeah,
when I could. If it allowed me time to do, I made it work and I made
yeah.
it happen.
Dig it. Now, as we talk about this, we want to. I never want to talk about these type of things like you're dying or you're moving to a different country because that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, all of our LOT folk, Tommy, which was the first person outside the dam, he's still fam. I was just in Rapid with Bree. She's still fam.
Yeah.
You still gonna be fam. Like it's like that's not it's not a goodbye type of thing. But it's a new chapter. So I do want to talk
Mhm.
about like what are some of the favorite moment? I know what my favorite Audrey moment is, but what is your favorite moment?
Oh my gosh. Um, I would probably say CultureCon was my favorite moment,
Yeah, for sure.
honestly.
That was mine.
Yeah, I would say CultureCon was probably my favorite moment just because I had been out of public speaking and speaking for a very long time for myself. And so it was actually kind of getting back on the saddle and doing it
Yeah,
again. And knowing I had the heart and the desire to want to do it,
yeah,
I just didn't know how I was going to get back to it.
yeah,
Um, or I thought a piece of it had kind of died a little bit, that maybe it was just kind of a season and then that's it and you move
yeah,
on. But CultureCon really allowed me to um, be really liberated on that stage. Like that was really truly me being able to be transparent and being me.
yeah,
And I think we always think that we have to put on this facade or this
yeah,
image of ourselves that we're successful, we're put together, we're this, we're that. But I think what really makes us so authentic and a way for people to really truly connect with us is when people can actually see the true you. They get to
Yeah.
see the good, the bad, the ugly. And I feel like that is what reaches people the most, is when they can see your flaws, they can see your faults, they can see, okay, they're just like me.
Yeah.
I've made a mistake, so do they, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I think being on that stage was one of those moments where I could just do that. I could be me and own what
Yeah.
I felt insecure about and own it.
No, I was really excited by that. Partly because for those who are not familiar, anybody that's watching right now, I would assume is probably familiar with Culture Con. And if you're not, one of the things that we always try to accomplish with Culture Con is that we want to create a stage for our voices, for people to have an opportunity to really speak. And I remember preparing for that with you. I wanted to challenge you a little bit because I was getting duck vibes from you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It seemed pretty calm on top, but them legs was kicking. You know what I mean?
I
And
don't even remember leading up
yeah,
to CultureCon. Like I tell people all the time, I don't remember half of that.
yeah,
Like I know I was on a roller coaster,
yeah.
bro, but I don't remember half of that.
But I
And
think
I
there's
know I
something.
was
I think there's a
ducking.
little something to that though, because when you hit the stage, like I think a lot of people appreciate it. I remember your fan being there and everybody being there, and I think there's a lot of people that appreciated the type of energy that you brought to it,
Mhm.
and some of the confidence that you had there that they saw, and it felt really authentic and really real, and it was really a bit of a coming out moment. So I was
Mhm.
pretty proud of you at that point.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
That was fun. You did
Mhm.
good. Um, uh, aside from my daily abuse from you,
It was not abuse. It was all love.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. I'm sure in certain countries they would call it love. But outside of that, and then obviously the culture con moment, and then all of the things that you participated in to help get going. Also, one of them, which is uh, our roundtables. So the
Mhm.
community roundtables are a big deal. Now that's a
Mhm.
little bit of a brand. Been bringing communities together, all different areas of the community to talk about how they can improve our environment, what they can do to make better. Talk a little bit about that part because that's a big element into what we did.
Oh gosh. I was not prepared for it to transition under us because I know
Yeah,
originally it had started under MCC, kind of leading it a little bit, and then transitioned under us to kind of lead the rest. And to start planning it and organizing it was a whole different ball game for me. But it was something I was super excited in learning how to do. Um, and Kaden Whitman honestly was like, she was my saving grace in a lot of it because she knew the process, she knew how to do it, she knew exactly what I needed to do, how to do it, whatever the case may be. So she honestly really kind of took me under her and helped shape me into that
yeah,
space so that I could really fully support how I needed to. I honestly had to have the same mindset in creating the space to be safe,
yeah,
the same way we do with Leaders of Tomorrow.
yeah,
So the mindset really didn't change much, but knowing that it's going to be more on a community level, where we're going to have, I mean, it's still similar to, again, Leaders of Tomorrow, but just creating a space for everybody to be able to show up, be themselves, and no matter the issue, the problems, whatever we had come up, it was always being willing to adapt to them, talk them through, figure it out, and make it work.
yeah,
So and being willing to learn different people in the community was great. Being able to connect to a lot of them, and it allowed me to make a lot of different connections that I didn't think I would ever meet and make. So that
yeah,
was really good for me to be able to have that moment and just see the vulnerability at the tables of people and just really encouraging them to open up, talk. This is going to be a safe space
yeah.
for us to be able to talk this through. And then how do we establish something that we can take ownership in and really move it forward in the community?
I dig it.
So
Um, we're not gonna make this too terribly long, but and we're not gonna get into exactly where you're going right now. We're not quite ready to do that. But what are you looking forward to? What is the thing that has you excited about this new opportunity?
I think for me, I don't know if obviously like people that have followed me lately have seen that like I'm just really walking into a new vision and versions of myself,
Yeah,
right? With CultureCon coming up Visions of Virgins has honestly kind of stuck with me throughout this year of like just knowing all of the different versions I've become
Yeah.
along the way. And so overcoming a lot of obstacles, overcoming these different things, and just walking into a new version of myself of owning truly who I am,
Yeah.
learning to advocate more and more for myself. Um, Knowing that when I walk into rooms, I belong in them.
Yeah.
I don't have to sit here and question if I belong in it. I don't have to sit here and be timid. I don't have to sit here and wonder, well, this person has more of an education in this realm than I do, so there's no way I can speak up and say anything because it doesn't matter.
Right.
But for me, it's now, no, you have something to say, you can say it, and it's okay to say. It's okay to speak out loud for yourself. It's okay to um, be confident in who you are and own it and not be afraid, not to back down, and really be confident in what you're doing. For me, it's just owning that. And I've come a long way in that. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the connections and just the building that's coming for myself.
Yeah.
Just the powerful visions for myself that I have. Like I know it's coming. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of me walking into this version of myself that's
Okay.
on the horizon.
Well, as we get ready to land the plane, let's talk about this. Because with the exception of probably Dan, some of our media team, and maybe a couple other folks, you probably logged the most hours of hearing us talk. You know what I mean? Saying some of these things. So, what are three of your core takeaways that you're going to take into the next experience? Three takeaways that you're going to take into the next experience.
Gosh, definitely always continuingly to be intentional.
Yeah.
That will always stick with me, always, always. And that the quote that sticks with me the most, honestly, that I've always used throughout my time of being here
Mhm.
is success lies on the other side of I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And truly living out my belief statement for myself,
Yeah.
which I've still been revising it actually.
Okay.
So mine originally was confronting all fears and conquering all failures, that it's
Mm,
not an option to run, that you must live this out
yeah.
fully and completely,
Yeah.
be you. And so for me, that's something I will continue to kind of live by for
Yeah. That's a
myself,
bar.
but just I'm still revising it a little bit and adding things here and there, but that I'll definitely take my belief statement with me.
Okay.
So
Well, Audrey, we love you. We appreciate you. You've done a lot for this whole
yeah.
thing and what this means to the community. I hope you all get that. Not every community has folks that are willing to do that work to lift people up, to make people better, to help them, and as a growing business, like we said, you can't take sugar out of cookies. All of those contributions make us who we are. They're bricks in the building, and you played a huge part into where we're at right now. So I'll give you the final word. What do you want to say to the people?
Oh gosh. I would honestly just say to all of those that are even on their way into Leaders of Tomorrow, have interacted with us, whatever the case may be, just continue to invest in yourself. That's the best thing you can ever do. It's going to help you in the long run, but it also helps those around you. Um, and just continue to work on you. Continue to look forward to building a better you. Um, that's all I can really say to all of that, but that's it. I'm not gonna say anything else because I'm probably gonna cry, so I don't want to.
Do it, do it, do it, do it. Cry, 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 cry. I'm joking. But that's what we're talking about, folks. Again, this is not goodbye. This is see you later. This woman is going to do some amazing things. We cannot wait to see it. As far, especially with all of our Think 3D alumni, we appreciate everything that everybody's done, and we love seeing people win. That's one of my things is being a maximizer. I love seeing people win, so I'm excited to see what you do in the
Yeah,
next chapter.
I'm excited.
Thank you so much. Thank you for what you've given us. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Okay, if you see her, make sure you say thank you and appreciate what she has done because she's done a lot for us. And we thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully, we don't have to do one of these for a while, but you know what I'm saying. But if we do, then we'll work through all of that. But until next time, see you all. Appreciate you signing off. Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Thanks for the comments. I wish honestly I
Thanks.
didn't
I
really
can't
see all of them.
them,
So
but I'll have to go back and look.
yeah, let's pop up below.
Oh,
Okay. Oh,
I love Raylan. Mm.
yes.
Oh, you guys are gonna make me cry.
Do it. Do it. Yes, Coach Khan, you killed it. You did kill it.
Thank you.
Yes. Look at all these beautiful comments.
Wow.
Thank you all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
So good. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Until next time. Yeah. Did you
Shout
wanna
out
say
to Bethany out there.
First of all,
She's keeping us in line, keeping them in line.
this is recorded. We can watch this back and see me say it. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't say thank you enough.
Anyway, thank you all, especially Audrey. Appreciate you. All right, signing off.